All right, Rabwar Fatah, Director, Middle East Consultancy Service, joins us now via Skype to discuss the development in Egypt. Good to have you with us, Doctor, this time.
Thank you.
Now, right, Article 3 of the Law 202 for the year 2014, which regulates the individual seats system in the House of Representatives, has been ruled as unconstitutional by the highest court in Egypt. How do you think this will affect the road to democracy in Egypt?
Well, the first thing it does is delays the election, which means Egypt will stay without a parliament for longer time. It has been already 2.5 years that the Egypt runs without parliament, and Egypt is mainly run by Sisi's government, which is run by decree. And although it's questionable whether the Sisi's government can issue all these decrees and pass laws in a faster rate than any previous governments for the last 60 years, it's really questionable whether this road to democracy is smooth. Obviously, this gives the Sisi government 4 more decrees. I'm not suggesting that it's deliberate, but nonetheless, it shows the law has been drafted in, if I say, incompetent way.
And now that the polls have been postponed, did you see this coming? Did it have to be this close to the elections before the court would make such a verdict? But let's just go first with your opinion as to whether you saw that the polls would not eventually hold.
I mean, obviously, it's rather for the incompetent authorities that they found on this late stage that the law is unconstitutional. It really puts the authority under question why it took so long to find out why they found in the last minute, and this is one main point, and the other one is for how long the Egypt stay without a parliament. Of course, nobody knows when the next election will be, and what would happen from now for the time until the election will carry out, and then the parliament will establish again. Without those, so the Sisi's authority will have the power to decree laws and so on, which is not very healthy for democracy, if you like.
All right. The President, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, has asked the cabinet to amend the law within a month. Do you think that it will be able to do this job within the time frame?
I mustn't really speculate, but I think a month is not realistic. If you take these issues, the history of these issues and legislation, especially in the absence of the parliament, the law, because the law has to be amended, and I guess it must go back to the constitutional court to see whether it's constitutional or not. Whether that can be done in a space of 1 month, I hate to speculate, but I don't think it's realistic.
Finally, Sisi has been holding, apart from presidential powers, he's been holding legislative powers now. You mentioned all the decrees he's been making since he became president, but what happens if and when, by the time the parliament itself is finally convened, what happens to these decrees? Do you see them surviving in the House?
It depends on the parliament. If Sisi's bloc, if you like, holding the majority in the parliament, of course they can pass those and find them constitutional, and even pass further laws further decrees in the future. But if Sisi cannot hold the majority in the parliament, then probably some of these decrees, especially the ones to do with the security in the country, would be under question, and the parliament probably have that challenge with fighting and challenging the Sisi's government. That's really very much depends on the result of the elections, and now the elections has delayed. obviously it will have an impact on the electors and also on who's standing for the members of the parliament, because you already hear noises that some of those who are putting themselves as a members of the parliament are not willing to do that again. So it's not a good time for Egypt, I guess.
All right, Rabwar Fatah, thanks a lot for your analysis about the situation in Egypt, where the polls originally scheduled for March the 28th are now postponed following a court verdict.